Wow, you guys really like this video, and I appreciate that. To all the new subscribers and everyone who commented, liked the video, shared the video, I appreciate it, and that's why we are back here with a 1977 Caprice Classic. This car was in a flood, water up to the roof, engine's locked up. But we're gonna dive into it today, put in some special sauce, see if we can't get it freed up, and then we're gonna bring it back to life. Stay tuned. So like I mentioned last time, 1977 Caprice Classic was the first year that GM took a full-size car and made it smaller, quite a bit smaller than its 76 counterpart. And this newer, smaller, full-size came power-packed with the 350 small block Chevy engine. This was a dealer demo car, and what I mean by that is people would come in and test drive this car and then decide if they wanted to buy the new Caprice Classic. This car made it to this honey hole and was sitting, waiting to be brought back to life when a disastrous flood occurred on the property, and this poor car was underwater. So after the water receded, the owner went back, drained all the fluids, put in fresh fluids, but it was too late. This engine had already got too much water in it, and since it sat without running, it's now locked up. So what we're gonna do today is see if we can't get the engine freed up. I wonder where my little dog friend went. Maybe he's got a day off. What do dogs do on their day off? Not lounge around everywhere? Like, I don't know. Do they get dressed up? Go to work? Like, I don't know. What does a dog do on its day off? Strap in. This is gonna be a good one. I'll tell you what it needs. If I put this on here, it's guaranteed to fire right up and run. You can get yours at buffsgarage.com. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, where we left off, we had pulled all this apart. Carburetor was froze up. We pulled the valve covers off, and there was rust on the rockers and valve train. And of course, we have mud and leaves and sticks and all kinds of stuff up all over here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start peeling some of this stuff off and just, get to where we can get to things, pull the spark plugs out, and we're gonna fill these cylinders up with some secret sauce and let it soak. We're gonna come back, try to free it up. In the meantime, we're gonna work on our electrical, make sure our starter works, and just get it ready so that when the engine does come free, and it will, we'll have everything else ready to fire it off and get it running. So let's start with the disassembly. So we're gonna just dive right back in here, pull our air breather back off, set it out of the way. Now when you take parts off, make sure you put them right in the way so that when you're not looking, you trip over them again later. And I'm sure I will. All right, so our carb, we bolted back on. Yep, so we're gonna have to take that off. Probably just rebuild it, but in the meantime, I've got something for that. Now, before you tell me it's too expensive, that's fine, but it works really, really well. Croyle is my go-to penetrant, and yes, there are cheaper ones that work just about as good, but man, this one just smells good. And it's not that I'm huffing it, it reminds me of my childhood. You can go back and watch my other videos where I talk about that, but we're gonna go ahead and soak down the carb with some Croyle. And we're gonna pull it off and let it kind of do its soaking thing off to the side. And just like that, our carb is free. Now, if you remember, it's pretty dirty down in there. So just for now, we're gonna go ahead and put the Carb Stopper 3000 in there. Try to keep as much dirt and debris out of there as we can. And then we'll come back and we're gonna fill all this up with secret sauce. Well, with the carb off, now we're gonna go ahead and dig into the valve covers, pull some of this plastic off and get it out of the way. Just make room so we can get in there. We're gonna pull out the spark plugs and just start filling this engine up. The last time you saw this car in a video, I pulled the spark plug in number 1 and it didn't look bad. Had a little oil on it, but it wasn't super rusty. And that's the wrong size. So since I don't have a borescope, we're just gonna go ahead and pull these out with the idea of getting access to the cylinders, and we'll pour our special sauce down there, let it sit. So here's our 4 plugs from this side, front to rear. And you know, carboned up, but they don't look bad. So we might hit them with the wire brush, throw them back in. We'll go over, pull those, and then we'll pull the valve covers and just start pulling this apart. So when you're pulling cars apart, especially when you're outside, you're in your driveway, or in this case, or in a yard, the last thing you want to do is lose your bolts. And since I'm not sponsored by anyone and I don't have a fancy little bolt keeper, I don't even have a magnetic tray out here with me. I usually keep one in the garage just for this. But I want to keep track of where all the bolts go. So most of you might already know this, but once you pull the part off, you can just put the bolt back in the hole it came from, and then hopefully you don't lose the bolts. It's not a guaranteed fix, but it you know, has kept me from trying to find bolts later or trying to figure out which bolt goes where. Now inevitably we always put them back together and there's extra parts. It's just how it goes. It just means you did a really good job because you got weight out of the vehicle. You weight reduced it by just not putting all the bolts back. It still runs, it's fine. That might be why only 2 vehicles out of the 10 that I own run. Nah, that's not it. This right here is why people end up zip tying these fan shrouds back together. 4 bolts along the top, 3 on each side, just to hold this piece of plastic on. If this were my car, I'd be zip tying it back together. Ain't nobody got time for that. And with that, 1 fan shroud removed. Now again, make sure you put that right in the way so that when you turn around and you're not paying attention, you fall on it. Oh, well, that's what's holding it. The old mud daubers had sealed the fan to the shroud. But they did get in here and there's a lot of dirt and dust and mud and other things that need to be removed, and it's better to get after it now before I fire this thing off and it just goes everywhere. All right, we're gonna put our screws back so we know where they're at. Now with the fan shroud off, well, we can go ahead and kind of start pulling some of this stuff out of the way. We are not going to touch the AC, but I want to make sure I can get to that bolt down there. So we'll just pull this clutch fan off, and that way I'm not banging into it while I'm trying to turn the engine over. Such a beautiful day. Woke up this morning, it was 30 degrees. There was ice on my car window. I come out here and it's 57 degrees and sunny, just beautiful. I'm telling you, Kansas weather is something else. Really anywhere in the Midwest. You West Coasters just don't know what you're missing with your, 70 degrees and sunny and ocean and nah, we get to have 3 to 4 seasons just within a few days here in Kansas. You get snow one day, you get the scorching summer heat the next, little rain, little springtime weather, and depending on the time of year, we can get a little fall, a little cool weather with some leaves falling. Get out your pumpkin spice and just make a day of it. You guys are missing out. I'm telling you, West Coasters, keep paying for your $1 million houses, and you know, I'll be here living the high life with my cheap house and garage and a whole block full of cars. I might have a problem. Doesn't help that I hang out with people like Jay from Irish Outlaw Garage, who definitely has more cars than me, and Dalton from Pole Barn Garage, who, given any time of the week, he may have more or less than me. He's definitely got more running than I do. And the clutch fan is removed. Now, again, you make sure you put this just right here, so when you turn around, you trip over it. Your only other option as a mechanic is to put it away for safekeeping so you won't forget where you put it, and inevitably you forget where you put it. Little arrow coil on the threads. They had just a touch of rust on them. This will just help smooth that out a little bit. Now we already know it's not going to turn, but what the heck, let's put a socket on it and see what happens. Okay, the last time we were here, all we tried to do was turn the engine over. We had a lot of rust up here in the valve train, and pretty much felt like it was going to be locked up. Now we pulled these plugs out, and you know, we're just going to go ahead and put a socket on it and see if we can get it to turn at all. And now I've not put the sauce in it yet. If it doesn't move, we will do that. Well, the bolt moved. Settle down. Well, our bolt's turning, but our engine isn't. So let's go get the secret sauce. You didn't take the day off after all, did you? All right, gonna help now? You gonna help now? Yeah, you are. Now, if you remember when we took our valve covers off, they were pretty rusty. There's a lot of sticks and debris and dirt on top of the manifold, and some of that has fallen down into our valve train. So I'm going to see if I can't find a vacuum to kind of clean some of this up. And we'll set these to the side, see if we can't clean them up as well. No vacuum? No problem. I found this leaf blower just kind of laying up there. So, you know what? Yeah, I think this is gonna work. So we can clean this up. Well, I am just sure that wasn't the right way to do it, but you know what? It got a lot of this dirt and debris out of here. The sticks are gone, leaves are gone. There's still a little bit of debris, but you know, compared to what it was, it's so much better. So, hey, if you don't have a vacuum or pressure washer or whatever, just grab yourself a leaf blower. That one was, according to the sticker, 15 bucks at a yard sale, and it did the trick. It's a lot cleaner than it was. So I'm gonna go ahead and start lubing up this valve train on the top. We're gonna go ahead and get our funnel out, start filling up the cylinders with sauce, and let her sit. Okay guys, so I said we're gonna make some secret sauce. There's no real secret to it. Get you some ATF, transmission fluid, some acetone, a mostly clean empty container, and you mix it half and half, 50% of each, and then we're going to pour it into the engine, cross our fingers and hope for the best. In the last video I asked what your special sauce was. I had a lot of comments and information, you know, chemistry and different concoctions that people would use, but this one by far won over the most people, and it's actually what I've used before, so that's what we're going to use. Like I said, we're going to just go with a 50-50 mixed, which is what is this, 1 gallon jug, so we'll go, you know, half gallon of this, half gallon of that, start pouring it in one at a time. So you tell me, does one brand work better than another? This is the cheapest stuff we could get, Valvoline Dexmerk. Obviously this is a GM product, it should be fine. It's this chemistry, people, so you got to get it just exactly right. No, you don't. Let's put our spout on and start pouring. I highly encourage you to use what you have around you. Like I said, this jug was literally laying in the dirt, and it looks like it, so I just kind of cleaned it out. Here we go. Let's find where. Aw, this funnel ain't gonna fit. Our leaf blower missed one. You gotta shake up the Kool-Aid, make sure it's evenly mixed. Well, at least one cylinder is getting full. That back cylinder is filling up. I keep hearing a low-flying airplane. Wondering when Cletus McFarland's going to pop out of the sky in his new Carbon Cub. I mean, there's more than enough room to land out here. It's probably Cletus just, you know, wanted to check out all the other YouTube channels. We're filling up each cylinder here, putting the spark plugs back in just to act as a plug, so I can just get a little bit of extra fluid in each cylinder. Well, I don't know if that's a good sign or not. I can't get any more to go in the top end here, but it's not coming out any of the other spark plug holes yet. Give these a little tappy tap, see if they move at all. Can't get to that one. Most of them moved. That's a good sign. Let's try this side. See, make sure you put stuff in the way so you trip over. Might be able to unstuck them with our secret sauce. All right, while that engine soaks a little bit, let's see if we can't do something about freeing up this carburetor. And if not, we'll figure it out. There's always other options. I mean, all these ports and everything are just plugged up. You're gonna have to get something to get in here and fish it all apart. Oh well, it's part of it, right? I mean, that's just full of mud. I can't imagine why it's froze up. So I won't show pulling this whole thing apart, because there's people like Kevin from Junkyard Digs, Junkyard Mook, lots of other channels that will show you how to do this and do it properly, and probably a lot better than what I'm going to do. So we're just going to fast forward to getting this thing freed up, if we can. And if not, then you'll see me coming up with another carb idea. One thing you didn't see is this bucket here has a strainer in it, and we took that carburetor that was all locked up, dropped it in there, let it soak, see if we can't get it to free up. Good old Quadrajet, you know. But if we can't get it to free up, then we'll have to find some other fuel delivery device, but we're going to try, see if we can't get it going again. All right, we're back. We've let everything kind of marinate in the secret sauce, and so now we're going to look to see if it's done any good at all. Well, let's see if we can put a ratchet on it and make it move. Well, all right, we let the sauce soak a little bit, but it's not even been a day yet, and I can tell you that we still have zero movement. So, from everything I've experienced and been told, we need to let this sit a little longer. We're going to let this marinate. We're going to let chemistry do its job and see if we can't get this thing moving, I guess. See if we can't get this thing to slowly eat away at whatever obstacle is holding it up. You know, we've started the process of getting it torn down and getting it all sauced up, and in doing so, now we got to wait. So rather than make you wait any longer, I'm going to jump on another project and get it going, and hopefully we can get that one started. We'll jump back into this one. Hopefully it'll have some time to let chemistry do its thing. And so let's jump over to the other project, and I'll introduce you to Rhonda. Oh, hey guys. So now we're going to move over to the 63 Oldsmobile wagon, nicknamed Rhonda. So Rhonda here has had a rough life, but the owner wants to get her running and driving. So, you know, just bring her back to life so she can cruise. He's got a lot of spare parts, as you can see. And with that, this engine is not going to be the one that we get running again. Instead, we're going to go back here to this black car, which hasn't got a name yet, but it's got the engine to put in this one. So we're going to go back here and see if we can't get that car running. And if we can get it running, maybe do a little quickie rebuild on it, drop it into here, and see if we can't get Rhonda back on the road. Underneath the hood is an Oldsmobile 394 Rocket 88 engine. And with that, these things got tremendous amount of horsepower and torque straight from the factory. So what we're going to try to do is revive this engine, bring it back to life, and in the process, maybe do a little refresh, throw some paint on it, and then drop it into Rhonda. So thanks for watching Buff's Garage.